Life is a battle. In many ways, life is a battle. It's a constant battle against our self-destructive tendencies, our patterns, our past, our weaknesses, our fears, our setbacks, our fallacies, and it can be a lot more things. Talking about this idea of battle sounds like a very negative attitude to life, but the beauty is when we embrace this battle with a full willingness and participation in it, it makes life more meaningful and purposeful. Life is hard, but what matters is how we face up to it, an approach that makes a hard life a good life. And now, to really prepare ourselves for this battle, we need to understand the conditions we live in. Our inner world and our outer world. One of the ways is to look back and see that we have come to this point of life despite the battles, and we are still standing strong now. Maybe at a point in life where you thought in the past what seemed like a battle, now we realize who we are today is because where we have been. So when we change our attitude, this battle makes life meaningful and purposeful. It's really important to adapt to constant change of life and become flexible with each new challenge life throws at us. And this is what I call personal growth, or a growth mindset, or being spiritual. Because people do not have the flexibility or the growth mindset. They remain rigid to the flow of life. They become stagnated and in some sense dead, somnambulist. We can flee from our battles, deny its existence, and avoid them. But the more we avoid the challenges, the less we live. And the less we live, the less alive we feel. Carl Jung talks about this. Unlived life is to be a destructive life. And I don't think you're one among those who simply exist. I believe you are the one who truly lives. The question is, how do we do this? And how do we truly live? When we examine ourselves deeply, uncovering the layers of the self, we will recognize that we are living a constructed self, or let's call it a borrowed self, which implies we've been given an identity. We've been told who we are, our possessions, our nations, our name, our job, our education, our conditioning, and all of that. And if you can see what I mean, we have been given an identity, and our life revolves around that identity, which is borrowed and constructed, which is obviously has limitations and is limited. But if we recognize that we are not who we think we are, not our constructed self, but an infinite self which has no limitations, which is an explorer, very curious, very resourceful, very adaptive, very flexible. This realization brings a shift in our perception and attitude of life to easily flow with life. A mediocre mind places happiness in things and people, relationships, and things outside himself or herself, which is okay, but not okay when you completely depend on the outer things for happiness and ignoring the inner wealth. So we are constantly at the mercy of things and people outside ourselves for happiness and fulfillment. And with this approach, happiness is always fleeting. And given this understanding, choose your battles wisely and embrace them.